In the heart of ancient Babylon, where the desert sun painted the sandstone walls in gold and the markets echoed with the cries of merchants, lived a man named Bansir. He was a skilled chariot builder, known for crafting carts strong enough to carry kings. Yet despite his mastery, Bansir often found himself sitting outside his humble workshop with empty pockets and a heavy heart. One warm afternoon, as he rested beneath a date palm, he said aloud, almost to himself, "Why do my hands create wealth for others while I remain poor?" At that moment, his friend Kobbi, the lute player, approached. Kobbi was no wealthier than Bansir, though his music entertained nobles and merchants alike. When he heard Bansir's lament, he confessed he shared the same trouble: endless work, endless skill, but never-ending poverty. They wondered aloud why riches seemed to flow endlessly through Babylon, yet somehow never into their own hands. Then Kobbi said something that lit a spark inside Bansir's mind. "Have we not known Arkad since our youth? Was he not once as ordinary as we are now? And yet he has become the richest man in Babylon." Bansir's eyes widened. Arkad had grown up with them. He was not born into wealth. If Arkad had learned the secret of riches, perhaps he could teach it. And so the two friends walked through the bustling streets to seek the wisdom of the man who had risen from nothing. They found Arkad in a courtyard shaded by palms, surrounded by clay tablets and scribes. His beard was silvered by age, but his eyes still held the alertness of a man who studied life closely. When he welcomed Bansir and Kobbi, they wasted no time. "Arkad," said Bansir, "long ago we knew you as one of us, yet now you are rich and respected. Tell us, why have you been blessed with wealth while we remain with empty purses?" Arkad smiled gently. "My friends, it was not the gods who favored me. It was wisdom, simple, practical wisdom, sometimes inconvenient wisdom, that led me to wealth. For many years I worked as a poor scribe. But one day I realized that while I worked hard, I never retained the gold I earned. That day I made a promise to myself: a part of all I earn is mine to keep." The phrase echoed like a whisper in the courtyard. Arkad continued, explaining how he began keeping 1/10 of every coin he earned, no matter how small. At first it felt difficult, but soon his small savings began to grow, and the weight of his purse grew heavier. With that heavier purse, he made careful investments, which grew again. His wealth began as a single coin he refused to spend, then grew into a river that fed itself. He told them about the early mistakes he made too, how he once invested with a brickmaker who promised riches in foreign jewels. He said, "I learned the hard way that you must seek advice only from those skilled in the trade you invest in. A brickmaker knows bricks, not jewels." This wisdom spared him from future foolish ventures. Then Arkad shared a truth that had shaped his entire wealth. Gold flees from those who chase it blindly, but it comes willingly to those who understand its laws. He taught them about making gold their servant, letting money work and multiply instead of letting it slip through careless spending. He spoke about guarding treasures from loss by avoiding risky ventures, about ensuring a future income, and about improving one's own skills to increase earning power, principles he had carved deeply into his life. Days later, the king of Babylon himself summoned Arkad. The city had grown wealthy, yet many citizens struggled financially. The king wanted his people to prosper, so he asked Arkad to teach them the same principles he had shared with Bansir and Kobbi. Arkad agreed, selecting 100 citizens and teaching them the timeless lessons of gold: saving before spending, controlling expenses, growing wealth through secure investments, avoiding traps of greed, and cultivating wisdom. Meanwhile, beyond the city walls, another story unfolded, one of a young herdsman named Sharu Nada. While traveling with a merchant boy named Hadangula, Sharu shared his story of slavery, hardship, and eventual success. He explained how diligence, integrity, and patience helped him rise from bondage to become an influential merchant. His life embodied another lesson of Babylon. Opportunity comes to those who work faithfully and seize small chances. Back within the city, a different lesson came from an old moneylender named Mathan. He taught a youth how to evaluate borrowers wisely, how to judge character, capability, and collateral before lending. These teachings formed the backbone of the Babylonian approach to protecting wealth, showing that generosity must be paired with prudence. As months passed, the people of Babylon who applied Arkad's teachings began to thrive. Their purses grew heavy, their debts shrank. They discovered that wealth was not a matter of luck or divine gifting, but of discipline, foresight, and proper stewardship. Even Bansir and Kobbi, once filled with frustration, found their lives transformed. They saved faithfully, invested wisely, and watched their riches multiply like fields watered by the Euphrates. Eventually, Arkad's lessons became known as the 7 cures for a lean purse and the 5 laws of gold. But for the people of Babylon, they were not just rules, they were the difference between scarcity and abundance, struggle and freedom. And so, the narrator, the one who tells us this story across the centuries, reminds us that even though Babylon's walls have crumbled and towers fallen, its wisdom endures. The ancient tablets may be dust, but the principles carved upon them remain as sharp as ever. Earn diligently. Keep a part of all you earn. Control your spending. Multiply your savings. Protect your wealth. Seek wise counsel, and never stop growing in skill and knowledge. For wealth, the narrator whispers, is not found in coins or treasures, but in discipline, wisdom, and the courage to live by principles proven through the ages.
And that is how the richest man in Babylon became rich, not by miracle or fortune, but by mastering the timeless laws of gold.